Got a visitor. Let's be quiet. That looks like a cardinal, like a female cardinal. This is a plum tree, and it is producing plums this year. Lots and lots of them. So I can see, what is the size of that? That's the size of like my nail, I guess. This is sort of a surprise. I didn't really expect this garden to do much this year. It's done at the same time more and less than I had hoped. Less than when I first planted, but more than I expected after I was seeing the results. So go figure that. This is our grocery row garden. This is where I get all my compost. Basically just chuck everything in here and they turn it into dirt and manure for me. So today I'm going to do a spring walkabout. It's mid-June and we're just going to take a look at what the garden's doing. Hostas here underneath our ash tree. Here's our maple guild this year. Here's some raspberries, elderberry, strawberry understory. Current purple there, in there is Creeping Charlie, and that's a lupin, another lupin. Got a mix of strawberry plants and Creeping Charlie here. Experimenting with letting this Creeping Charlie go as ground cover. There also seems to be a bunch of lupins that I've seeded there last year. Got some currants back there. These are these two silvery looking trees here are not chokecherry. It is sea buckthorn, right? But all along the front we've got some hascaps here, here. We've got a nice grape vine growing up this tree this year. It's doing quite well. There's a male seaberry. The other two are females. They're the ones that will produce fruit. And lots of hascap plants here. I probably have about, not in this guild, but on the property, something like 30 hascaps. And they are all coming in beautifully. Berries are starting to show. They'll turn bright blue, well, dark blue when they're ready. Here's a success story, I think, of this portion in particular. Seems to be quite a success story for me. We've got a maple here and really nothing but strawberries underneath, which is how I had envisioned all of this until I had to reset it recently with some paper bags and leaves to kind of give choke out the weeds where it was obvious that the weeds were winning over the strawberries. This is okay as well. There's more grass there than I would like, so you pick your battles, right? On the very end we have an elderberry and burning bush, and we've got comfrey around the border the entire way. This helps keep the grass out, keep plants in. You can kind of see the pattern all the way down. Okay, this is our part of our figure eight. I think we're calling this the Quaking Aspen Guild because that's the big tree. Quaking Aspen. This has really just been a burial ground for forgotten plants and stuff that I don't know where to put at the moment. Over the years though, it's sort of acquired its own character. We've somehow managed to get these hostas to grow here, which they are very, very small and late compared to the other hostas on the property, and even others that are, no, that's a different variety. So there's really nothing to compare to, I guess, for these in terms of when they're supposed to come out. But anyway, inside we've got tons of things. We've got a hazelnut, lots of currants, hascaps, stuff that I just didn't know where to put. We've got some forsythia right there. And then we have these Siberian irises. Have this funny little border of sorrel and red bloody dock. And then I'm trying to use bugleweed for an understory, and because it's so readily seeds in our soil, so, or takes root in our soil, so I've been spreading that everywhere. And of course our wildflower garden just on the south side of our house is doing well this year. It's a mix of a lot of things. We planted some, what are those, Asiatic lilies, I think, and some other plants that are in there. These are Nikki's plants, so I don't know them as well, but what can I see? There's another Siberian iris. There's a hibiscus, I think, or a hibiscus back there, I can't tell. That's a hydrangea, And then these are our clematis. We're hoping to join them at the top this year. There's little hooks. You can kind of see where the vines sort of went and just failed to connect last year, but we'd like to connect that this year. Anyway, lots of strawberry understory where we couldn't fill other things because it was easy. Hostas, another Asiatic lily. This is peppermint. It's we have spearmint on the property too, but I like peppermint a lot more. These are her lavender, doing really well this year. Bergamot? Bee-balm? I don't think I got it right. Some lamb's ear. I'm not sure what that is. It's a lupin. And this is where we've kind of added a new space. You can kind of see where it's like a sliver there. I'm not sure what you call that shape, but that is where we're putting a lot of these annuals this year. They're doing quite well. And there's just kind of a mix of things back there. Not as defined as I would like, but that's gardening for you. Lots of new Siberian irises from our neighbor way the heck down there. We've developed a nice friendship with. And what used to be behind that fence and where you see something being thrown right now is where he's demolishing his shed. And of course on the east or south side of the shed were a bunch of Siberian irises, so I took them. This is right below the playhouse, right next to our house. We've got some sunchokes, the ants float these back. I'm not sure what they're called. I know what they're called, it's missing. Name is escaping me. Got some 2 marijuana plants, which we're allowed to grow up here. Something of a border, but nothing really yet. This was sort of a surprise. I didn't really expect this garden to do much this year. It's done at the same time more and less than I had hoped. Less than when I first planted, but more than I expected after I was seeing the results. So go figure that. Anyway, lettuce, beets, and another 2 marijuana plants. So yeah, that's our legal limit. Some lettuce that I just haven't gotten around to planting. Here's the other half of the figure 8. We were just down in the Quaking Aspen Guild. Oh. Got a visitor. Let's be quiet. That looks like a cardinal, like a female cardinal. Somebody can help me out with that. It's not quite red, and it's going after the hascaps, which I'm about to show you now. Okay, I think it's checking. So, yes, row of hascaps here, probably about 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry. Thought you'd gone away. Sorry to disturb. Hydrangea and rose and more hascap, and that is an apple tree. So let's take a look at those characters. Same view, different perspective. Here's our row of hostas. Our apple tree, which is just doing amazing this year. The growth on that, like, good golly, that is a good foot of growth. Okay, another row of hascaps. Right, we're gonna have a record hascap harvest this year. Crazy, just how many berries are on this plant. It's way obvious when they're ripe, but you can see, what is the size of that? That's the size of like my nail, I guess, and a little bit longer. Anyway, they turn blue like a blueberry, and they're sour like a raspberry. So we like to make jams out of them. Got our peach tree. It's doing really well. I had this sort of drain around it because it was a little bit too wet, but also I realized if I dug deep enough, I could keep the water located down more near the roots. So that, I'll talk about that system in a minute. Been trying to plant 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hydrangeas. Hostas, sorry. Hostas around here to give it some kind of a border. They're doing okay, but this is their first year, and I hacked them apart, so they're doing okay. Or next year, hopefully. More of a defined edge next year. Let's go take a look at the garden next. Before we get there though, on our way, we're gonna examine that in a sec. This is a weeping mulberry and peonies, that's what these are. The ants open them up. That's what we had down there. Ugh, don't look across our messy yard. Anyway, these are geraniums, dogwood, I think. And this section here, all the way down to here, is new this year. This lilac, which we took from between our two cherries this year, and we moved over here. It's got some lamb's ear, some phlox, chunk of lemon balm. It's probably gonna shine soon, hopefully. Oh, looks like we transplanted some mint. Thanks. Lupins, bee something, I forget what that's called. Bee something. And then a coneflower back there. Lovely. Some decorative rhubarb, which is no different than other rhubarb, it's just deeper in the shade. So it's really never gonna produce a nice stalk. Surprise, didn't know this was here this year. It's nice to see it show up. And some more Siberian irises. The rest is behind our slap together situation here, so I won't show it, not today. This is our grocery row garden, so I'll go through this. This is our hens. The girls, they are in a pen like this. This is where I get all my compost. Basically just chuck everything in here and they turn it into dirt and manure for me. That system works really well. I could talk about more of that in another video. This is a little fun garden in front, some lavender that we bought, some lavender that we transplanted, and that's doing really well. Some climbing beans, I forget what they're called, scarlet runners, and that's some rosemary. Garlic is doing really well. Oops, got some grass stalks in there. Rye, probably. These are huge. I mean, what's a good metric for that? I don't know. They're up to my waist. Some kale at the end. Some other cabbages, I think, sort of growing in. A big row of beets. And a less obvious row of carrots, but they're still there. Show up better in real life than on camera. Those are sunchokes. I'm gonna have to deal with that because they will creep hard. Here's a lilac. Yeah. Sunchokes for privacy. They grow up, 6 feet tall, as tall as me, and they shield from the road. So looking back, all that you really see is nothing. Row of green. This is broccoli. These are all volunteers from last year. They're doing well. They don't grow big heads. They grow just little bundles that you pick one at a time. But in the aggregate, you can come up with a bowl a day type thing. Anyway, here's some potatoes that I hilled up. This is kind of a nursery ground for me where I'm growing. Took all the shoots of lilac and just put them in the ground essentially. And same here. This is a nursery for currants, as if I didn't have enough already. This is a box that we, a little ghetto, but this is a box that we've been working on. These are Egyptian walking onions, fantastic. They self-seed, chives and some mint and stuff, and then some weeds. I'm just waiting because we've got some actual carrots in here that actually made it, but I've given up on that box. I'd like to highlight some of the work I've been doing on both this grass and the understory here. This understory of very old, very mature pines, and there's a few ash trees in there. It's been very, very difficult to grow in, but we've been working on this edge for a while, trying some ferns and hostas and lily of the valley. There's one fern in there. Got some hostas here and there. Some of them are doing a lot better than others, obviously. Could be just a variety. Lily of the valley. All the way down there, that's all lily of the valley. And then a few in between, I think. Anyway, we've got these hostas, different varieties, some doing better in the shade, some not. Anyway, it's a work in progress, right? You just sort of figure out what works and you go with it. And we've also got this sort of thing going on of we've got some lupins in between that are surprisingly growing where I thought they would not, under pines, and producing flowers. So that's amazing. Now this lawn has been in horrible shape for years, and I think it's starting to turn a bit this year, but last year I sowed fall rye in here and I let it overwinter, and then this year it sprung up, and when it started producing seed heads or getting close, I just mowed it over. I didn't get it all right. Some of them I don't appear to have terminated all the fall rye, but I think the effect of growing roots down into soil and decompacting the soil is starting to have an effect already, which is encouraging. It looks greener and healthier than it did last year. And lastly, this is our black walnut guild. That's a black walnut tree. I don't know how many years old now, probably 7. Hasn't produced any nuts yet, but hopefully will soon. But we've got forsythias, irises. For like early spring, we've got this sort of, I forget what they're called, boxwoods for interest. Got a whole bunch of, that's all going to be black-eyed Susans. Massive hostas, massive, like up to my mid-thigh. And this is a plum tree, and it is producing plums this year. Lots and lots of them. So I'm super excited about that. I think that'll be our real first fruit yield. And then we've got this edge of daylilies, which has been amazing. It's been a great edge management solution. Our neighbor basically just goes along with his mower, and when he gets near our daylilies, he stops, and they kind of flop over the edge, right? So they make it look tidier than it actually is. Here's a forsythia, different variety than this one, but still doing quite well. And I guess I should show the row of currants, which are in their 2nd year, believe it or not. 2nd year. Planted from, you can see these green stems basically going all the way down to the original stick, right? And then green. Already producing massive amounts of fruit. But really, I just wanted it for to greet people when they come in the driveway and they see this like lush, ultra, like super like limey green. It's just nice to see in the early spring. Encouraging when you come in here and you can just see some green. So anyway, that's it, folks. Yeah. See you next time.